Take care. Hey, good afternoon. How's it going? So am I the only one that gets off of work and then comes to drink? I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's a generational thing, but thinking about it, I remember my dad used to come to get back from work. He was in the Army. He used to get back from work, I'd say around like 6:30 more or less, or maybe 5:36. He would always have a beer, and if I'm not mistaken, it was an Old Milwaukee. And I do remember it was like 5:36 because at 6 o'clock we would watch the local news. 6:30 it was international news, and then at 7 Wheel of Fortune, 7:30 Jeopardy. So if you're Generation X, you have to know what I'm talking about. That's the order of things, how they were. Going back to what I was saying, yeah, get off of work, have a sip of beer, kind of relax, set the stage. Today is a Friday, so we like to act that we're actually working or that's really busy, but at least in my case, half of the office is out on, be it winter vacation or because the kids are in school and they have off, so they're off there, or people just take R&Rs because it's a perfect time frame to do so. At least with our little guy, we're going to take advantage as much as possible as that, since he doesn't have a schedule that we have to abide by all the time, and he's on a Chinese schedule now. We don't take a winter break off. We just stay here, stay put. We didn't go anywhere, and we won't go anywhere until Chinese Lunar Festival, which is upcoming in the month of March. So Western societies have already had their vacations. They're all everybody's out. The offices are like working very slow tempo. Right when it starts to ramp back up, I'm getting out of here. Funny enough, we'll be headed to Hanoi. We've been there before. Hanoi is awesome. And if you've ever had the chance to travel to Vietnam, you know what I'm talking about. So in Southeast Asia, I'd say Vietnam is probably one of the best kept secrets in regards to cost-wise. Obviously, there's Cambodia and Laos, which are even cheaper, or maybe at the same par with Vietnam. But Vietnam, even though it's cheap as Cambodia and as Laos, the services are much, much better, infinitely better. And I'd say that Hanoi was fantastic. First time we went was a couple years ago, back in 2019. We stayed there, I believe it was 10 days. Phenomenal time. We stayed at the Hilton Hanoi, which I really don't recommend nowadays. Sorry, Hilton. Just because it's old and weathered. You had plenty of different hotels there, local hotels, which are much better quality, much better services, much better locations. So it made no sense for us to stay at the Hilton. But if the only thing that you have is points, go for it. But this time around, we're going to Hanoi, and then we're going to Da Nang, which we've never been to before. It should be interesting, should be cool. And again, why I think it's one of the best kept secrets. Again, services are phenomenal. They're incredibly good. The food is outstanding. It's like the same food that you have in the States or in the West that's Vietnamese. You still have that same type of food in Hanoi, in Vietnam. Be it a little bit more authentic, where you're sitting on the streets eating your food, or you see the food made right in front of you, which might freak you out. But nevertheless, fantastic. Absolutely wonderful food. And then everything is so cheap. I mean, we had been going to Thailand forever. It was a perfect destination for us because from the former Soviet Union to Thailand, normally there's direct flights and it's really, really cheap. Or they make really good packages, and that's where people tend to go. If you've been to Thailand recently, you've noticed the huge amount of Russian diaspora that you have there. Before it used to be European, now it's strictly Russian, especially after the legitimate invasion of Ukraine or Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. All of the Russians that didn't want anything to do with it, and those that were escaping conscription, fled to Thailand. And so you have a lot of them over there. But like I was saying, we always thought that Thailand was cheap. And it really is, it really is. But just imagine Thailand being expensive because you came from Vietnam first. It's wild, but that's what we have to look forward to. How I got into this tangent, I have no idea. I mean, I thought I was talking about beer after work, and now I got into Vietnam. So, talking about beer, Goliath's Brewing has, I don't know if they have a brewery here or they have a really good import-export system with Chinese. And so you will find Gorilla Brewing. Is it Gorilla Brewing? My bad, not Gorilla Brewing, Goliath Brewing here in China everywhere. And this is really good Su Pale Ale. Definitely worth it. Regretfully, when you do buy it over here, a little bit of everything is marked up, so you are paying a premium. Back in the States, I believe the can of this one, of a Goliath, would probably be, well, probably about anywhere from $12 to $16, the 4-pack. So that means anywhere from 16 divided by 4 is 4, right? So $3 to $4 a can of beer. Versus over here where you're paying $5 for a can of beer. But it's good. China has a very, I wouldn't say advanced, but a very good craft beer scene. Regretfully, I've not been out enough, probably because I'm a dad. Now, I know my buddies over there watching know that I'm a huge fan of craft beer. And if you haven't realized that, I am. And everywhere I go, I've been brewing craft beer. Well, I've been brewing my beer, which I consider craft. And so when I say that there is a scene here, it's totally legit. There's tons of breweries here, and namely just because if you're into the beer scene, you realize that most of the equipment, if it's not coming from anywhere in the big beer countries in Europe, if it's not coming from the States, it's coming from China. China has a massive industry of metalworks with regards to brewing systems. And most of the brewing systems that they do are big hectoliter, big barrel systems. So the smaller ones you're gonna find around like 3-barrel systems. But I've been talking to a couple of people that will make something smaller, anywhere from like half-barrel systems, half-barrel fermenters, to something to a max of 1 barrel. It's a little bit more complicated to do for them, just because I suppose they don't have the market for it internally. But for export, huge into the big barrel systems, even domestically. There's so many breweries. It's nuts. It's just trying to find the better ones, in those that don't just make the typical stuff, right? So, like many other places in Europe that you'll go to, that it's a gastropub or what is it? A brew pub, where they make their own beer and they serve their own food. Over here, they have the same exact thing. And so finding the better ones, it's a little bit more complicated. But you do find them, and it's accessible. It's not tons of them, but you do find it. Hopefully one of these days I will show you the other side of the city, where we are directly in front of what they call Party Pier here in Guangzhou. And that whole area over there is nothing but bars. There's a couple of breweries, and there's an actual beer museum where they have this recently opened kind of like games pub bar location called Cages. Really cool, and they do craft beer as well. So, well, nevertheless, my little one is about to get here. And he's only 4. So being a 50-year-old with a 4-year-old, oh, I need this. That said, have a great weekend. Remember, enjoy your free time, enjoy your me time. If you want to spend it with people that you care for or that you don't care for, do it. As long as you're able to decompress, I found that being able to decompress is the ultimate solution to everything in life. Just relax, man. We only have one life, so live it to the max and have a great weekend. Laters. Peace. Bye.